Beauty. What is it? Who's to say what beauty truly is? Does it mean being a size 0, being curvy, or being voluptuous? In today's time, beauty is viewed as having absolutely no fat on your bones. Beauty is portrayed as being so thin that bones are clearly visible. But is this really beauty? Or has the society in which we live in taken thin to a whole new level? It seems that everywhere we look, we are faced with what our bodies are supposed to look like. Some of us may even begin to diet and exercise. Yes, by doing so is good. It's good to be healthy. But what happens when the obsession with eating, exercising, and trying to stay thin gets out of hand? Today I'm going to be informing you guys on eating disorders as well as the warning signs and causes. First, let's take a look at the 3 most common eating disorders as well as some of the warning signs. Anorexia nervosa is defined by Medical News Today as a psychological disorder in which a patient has a distorted body image and an irrational fear of becoming overweight. He or she deliberately attempts to lose weight by controlling food intake. Some of the warning signs that may be seen are dramatic weight loss, a preoccupation with weight, food, calories, fat grams, and dieting, a strict exercise schedule, excuses to avoid meal times or situations involving food, and food rituals. And some of these food rituals include portioning up their food, cutting their food up into small pieces, and when they go to eat their food, they will chew excessively on each bite. Bulimia nervosa is defined by the Mayo Clinic as a psychological disorder which involves episodes of binging and purging. During these binges, individuals will consume large amounts of food in a very short period of time, and then once they're done, they'll go directly to a bathroom and then purge it up, which means they will vomit it up. They will also use laxative and diuretics to rid themselves of the food they have just eaten. Some of the warning signs for someone with bulimia are frequent trips to the bathroom after meals, as well as signs and smells of vomiting. There will be unusual swelling of the cheeks and the jaw area, and that's from the self-induced vomiting, as well as the calluses on the back of their hands that may start to form. If you look at their teeth might start to be discolored, and they actually will start to deteriorate as well, and that's from the stomach acid from the self-induced purging. I actually watched an episode of True Life, which aired on MTV, and it documented 3 young people who all had eating disorders. Abby was a 20-year-old bulimic, and just to show you guys the extent that people go to hide this, she would go out every day and go to fast food restaurants and the gas stations and grocery stores and spend like $40 to $50 just on junk food. She would sit in the parking lot and eat all of this and then go find bathrooms at various different places and purge it right back up. And later in the episode, she had an airtight container that she kept in her closet of her bedroom, and she pulled that out for the cameras and opened it up, and it was full of vomit. So at night, or whenever her parents were home, she would be puking in that tote just to hide it. So that's kind of extreme, and that just goes to show that they take this really seriously, and they'll go to anything to hide their disease. Last, binge eating disorder is defined by Binge Eating Disorder Association as a disorder in which individuals consume large amounts of food when they are not physically hungry. They eat until they're uncomfortably full. They feel depressed, disgusted, and guilty after the binges. They use this as a coping mechanism. As you and I would go for a walk, listen to music, do stuff to relieve stress, they resort to food. The warning signs for these people who have binge eating disorder, it may be hard to actually detect because most of the time they're obese to begin with. And when they do these binges, they do it behind closed doors. So if they were to go out to eat with you, they would eat normally, but as soon as they get home by themselves, they would binge. So it's hard to detect binge eating disorder in people who may have it. So what actually causes eating disorders? Some of the causes of eating disorders, if you are a female, you are at higher risk. It's a clinical fact that if you're a female, you're more than likely to get an eating disorder than if you were a male. Family history and genetics. If you grew up and, say, your mother or your sister had an eating disorder, you are more at risk to get an eating disorder as well because you've been exposed to that. If you have psychological disorders such as depression, poor body image issues, low self-esteem, this may also be a cause of eating disorders. Dieting. Something as simple as watching what you eat and exercising can turn into an eating disorder as well because you feel as though You feel good about your body because you're losing weight, and then you want to lose even more, so then you resort to higher, you'll do even more to lose that weight. So they may turn to eating disorders in order to get skinnier. And last but not least, the media has a lot to do with eating disorders. If you watch on TV, all the actresses, models, singers, they all, they say that you have to be a size 0 and very slim in order to be pretty. And so I just have a picture. Lady Gaga, Demi Lovato, and Snooki, they all had eating disorders. So it just goes to show that not just normal people like you and I can get eating disorders. Celebrities have them too. And I just have a couple pictures of 2 different females who have anorexia nervosa, and you can obviously tell their bones are clearly visible. And this is just an example of someone who is binging, and then if they were to purge it up, they would be considered a bulimic. Just a couple statistics. 13 million people binge eat. 10 million women battle with anorexia or bulimia, and 1 million men battle with anorexia or bulimia. The more that adolescent girls watch the social media, the more likely they are to get an eating disorder. And just a couple of statistics with children. 80% of all 10-year-olds are afraid of becoming fat, and 42% of all 1st through 3rd grade girls want to be thinner. To me, those numbers are really high for children who are so young. I don't think that they should be concerned with their body or their weight at such a young age. So it's obvious to see that eating disorders should not be taken lightly because ultimately they can end in death. Now that I have explained the different eating disorders, warning signs, and causes, I hope that you will be able to detect if someone you know has an eating disorder. If you are someone who has an eating disorder, please get help immediately because you are putting your life at risk. Beauty comes in all different shapes and sizes. No matter what you or anybody else thinks, you are beautiful and your life is too precious to lose it.